your time to ask questions. It will go as long as you go until we run out of either questions or we run out of time and we move on. These guys are really open. They've been very good with communication with me, and I've known most of these guys for a very long time. So feel free to hammer them a little bit. I'd like to see them sweat, if you wouldn't mind, and then they're going to give their answers back to you. Any questions there?
No doubt everyone sitting up front has a passion for what they do, and they've gotten to the point where they're at. What were the steps that you took to get there? Myself, I'm a strength and conditioning coach at a high school. Some of you, no doubt, are working with the professionals, college levels. What were the steps that you took to get there?
A lot of it certainly is timing, but I know early in my career, just trying to get out and learn from different programs. I did some work with Jason Gallucci and Van Dyke down here at Penn State, and we were going anywhere we could drive every weekend, getting out to conferences and clinics and trying to visit people. I think one year I made it to Notre Dame to spend some time with Mickey Marotti, who was a big influence in my career, probably 5 or 6 times in a matter of 3 months. So just people that are open, go visit them, talk to them, go visit some of these great coaches, read their material, and just take the time. I know when I was trying to get more involved and learn some things with how the NFL operates, I drove down to Ashburn, Virginia, which is about a 3.5-hour drive every week for a year and a half, 1 to twice a week, just to try to learn and get information. So if you want to do something, go do it and get into it and learn.
I like to talk, so I'm going to make sure I talk. This is something that's very dear to me, just because when I got into coaching in general, this profession found me more so than I found it. I was a college athlete, played football, but I went to a small school, and so a lot of the strength and conditioning was stuff that we had done ourselves. And as I was getting in this field, I wanted desperately to be a strength coach. Once I figured it out, what I wanted to do, I wanted desperately to do it. But there was very few opportunities, or at least people that I felt wanted to give a young strength coach an opportunity, or somebody wanted to get into the profession an opportunity. And so you make your own opportunities, I guess is the gist of what I'd like to say. I mean, I moved around, took unpaid internships, took any kind of coaching experience I could to give myself intangibles that would be appealing to a college strength coach or a pro strength coach. And my last job that I had open, I had over 400 resumes for. And pretty much everybody on this panel would agree that that's typically the case. And so if you're going simply on resume, it's not going to happen. It's simply not going to happen. And and to be honest with you, a lot of the resumes are, there's a difference between having a professional resume, something that you would turn into your college, and a strength and conditioning resume. And it's something that we do with our interns. We take them through and have them come up with their strength and conditioning resume. But when I'm hiring, I'm looking for intangibles that would benefit our program, And so things that I look for, I'll be honest, I look for a collegiate athletic experience, because I'm in the collegiate setting. I want people that have been in the same position that our athletes are in. I don't want somebody to dog cuss a kid and then turn around and have never been in that position. So I look for that. I look for appearance. I want it to be believable. I'm not going to lie. Beyond that, I look for things that are going to bring things to our program and make them better. So I look for, I make sure that we have somebody on our staff that is computer savvy. Because I still remember the very first time I took the job, job at South Florida, doing 40s and not knowing anything about Excel and not being able to take, and adding up columns to come up with averages for 40s. And it's taken 30 minutes to go through 105 guys instead of just doing a little equation and dragging it down. Pissed me off when I found that out.
That's what you got robbed for.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. So I look for computer savvy people. I look for people, we do a lot of mixed martial arts with our guys. I look for somebody that's got some sort of mixed martial arts background. I look for things that we don't have. But, it's funny because when I go through these hiring processes and I go through our phone interviews and our face-to-face interviews, I get the same answers. I get, well, I'm passionate. I'm passionate. Well, the people that I got working for me are passionate. What else are you bringing to the table? You know, and like Coach was saying, networking is key. Networking is key. It's got to be believable, you know, me bringing you in. If I'm bringing somebody in from a performance setting and I got the assistant strength coach from LSU, the assistant strength coach from USC applying for the same job, you know, their third assistant, and I got somebody from a performance standpoint, doesn't mean anything that it doesn't mean knowledge isn't there. It just means the setting wasn't there. And so getting into those settings and getting experience in those settings is critical, you know, and it's got to be believable, like I said. So I took up more than enough time.
In response to that question, I think you got to look at a lot of different intangibles. You wonder how, like many of us sitting up here, got into the profession. I can tell you, myself personally, I was in electrical engineering for 3 years, and that was the program. There's where I was going. I was going to become an electrical engineer, and there was a tragedy in my life. Mother got sick, et cetera, et cetera. Sat out of school for a year. During that year, a lot of soul searching, saying, "Hey, do I want to go back and become an electrical engineer, or do I really want to go where my passion's at?" So at that point, I changed tracks, went into physical education, health, and safety, finished up my undergrad degree. But the thing is, if you want to be successful, regardless of what it is, you have to, when many doors are closed, you got to have the perseverance to step up to the plate and continue to knock on the next door. In my situation, I applied for 63 graduate assistant positions. I was rejected or no return on 61 of the 63. The 45 football graduate assistant positions I applied for, I was 0 for 45. So, and the same university I applied for, there was no openings for football. As far as I was thinking about becoming a football coach, the same school hired me as a graduate assistant for strength conditioning, West Virginia University. So the thought process is, just because there's many doors shut and people tell you can't do this, or hey, this is not available, it's how important is the mission to you. Looking back on my career, I can tell you, I think the thing that I've gotten better as I evolved and went along my coaching career is, I think the number one thing that you have to do is build a relationship. You have to build relationships not only with the administration, with the coaches, but the players. You can't cross the river till you build the bridge. That river, if you're like me and you can't swim well, then you need that bridge to get across that river. But you have to build relationships, and it's about passion. And we're all very blessed, and you have to figure out, what am I good at? What are the things I need to improve on? But like these coaches have mentioned, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into this. At the level of some of these guys have been at and are currently at. I want to tell you what, myself, speaking for myself only, for 27 years, Memorial Day and Labor Day, I could tell you what they represent. I had no clue what month they were in. I mean, that's how much we get involved in our world, and it's 7 days a week, and you're working hard, and you're raising everyone else's kids in our setting, and the settings we're in. You're raising everyone else's kids. I've got a 22-year-old son, and my wife and I figured up one time I probably missed 4 years of his life. So you've got to figure out what's important. Do you have a drive? Are you a clock watcher? That's one thing I want to know. If I'm interviewing someone, I want to know if they're a clock watcher. I would really like to, and Coach McKeefer or Coach Hicks mentioned this, and I really didn't do that, Coach. He thought that on the interview process with some interns one time that I had them out back painting weight plates on their interview. That's not true. That's not a bad idea if you think about it, because the ones that are shaking their heads or walking away, those are the ones I really don't want anyway, because I'm not paying them anything to begin with. And if the experience is worthy enough, they'll stay and they'll finish painting the weight plates. But you have to figure out some way how to screen them. That's the thing, I think, as we'd all agree, as we've gone down this journey or this path, this occupational path, is that people, do they really want to pay the price to do what they do? This is not a quick fix. What we're doing is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So you just have to figure out what's important.